What's up guys, Sal here. So there are two kinds of people in this world, those who absolutely love Apple products and those who believe Apple products are overpriced and repackaged versions of technology already available from other Android companies. If you're in the second group, you probably wonder why Apple fans always fawn over announcements of Apple's tech innovations that look eerily familiar, because they're already available in other products released by other companies several years earlier. Faster charging, bigger displays, widgets, Apple Pencil to name a few. And now with the iPhone 14, Apple is again catching up with Samsung when it comes to one selfie camera feature that has been present on Samsung flagships since 2017. Ming-Chi Kuo, a famous Apple analyst, tweets that all the iPhone 14 variants will feature autofocus on their front-facing cameras, which would result in sharper images across a range of distances. This would be a major upgrade over past iPhones which have stuck with fixed focus selfie cameras. Now, as I've said, this isn't something new. Samsung introduced this feature with the Galaxy S8 5 years ago back in 2017, and it looks like Apple is finally catching up to Samsung. Anyway, Kuo also mentions that Apple will increase the size of the aperture for the front-facing camera, bumping it to f1.9 from f2.2. This results in the sensors capturing more light, which should result in better daytime and low-light photos. And this also results in a shallower depth of field in photos, which would make the photos as well as the videos much more pleasing to the eyes. Moving on, we know that the iPhone 14 Pro lineup will see some design changes, namely the eye-shaped cutout on the display for the front cameras and a bigger rear camera module to make room for a new 48-megapixel main camera sensor. But the design change doesn't end there. According to the fresh CAD renders discovered by Ian, the iPhone 14 Pro model will also get more rounded corners on both its body and display to make the radius of the display's corners look more like those of the rear camera bump. Interestingly, only the 14 Pro will get this design change. The iPhone 14, 14 Max and 14 Pro Max are all missing out for some reason. Also, all the iPhone 14 models will come in a new purple color variant, and interestingly, this purple shade will change depending on the lighting, which sounds pretty cool. Other color options for all the iPhone 14 lineup are displayed on your screen. With that being said, it seems Apple will be forced to put a USB-C port on its iPhones, iPads and AirPods, as the EU has moved one step closer to making USB-C a universal charging standard. Members of the European Parliament voted overwhelmingly in support of legislation, with 43 in favor and only 2 against, that could force Apple to switch to USB Type-C in all of its devices. Do know that passing legislation can take time, but hopefully it happens sooner than later. Apple is making billions of dollars by sticking to the Lightning port, as any third-party company that uses the Lightning port will have to give licensing fees to Apple. And that's the reason Apple is stubbornly sticking to this charging solution. But the thing is, there are rumors that Apple will go portless before they are forced to use USB-C, so there's that. Anyway, do consider subscribing for all the latest iPhone 14 updates, and as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.